Hello and welcome back to A Quick Look. I'm Zoe Jewell, and today's episode is dedicated to all of the millennials out there because John Tucker Must Die, yes, that movie from 2006, may be getting a sequel. Okay, let's get into it because news broke earlier this week that John Tucker Must Die, the iconic teen comedy that if you were between the ages of like 12 to 18 when this movie came out, I know this had a profound impact on you as it did me. Well, it turns out a sequel is in the works and may be happening sooner rather than later. Okay, we have all the info. Honestly, when I saw this, I was shocked because I didn't even know this was a possibility. But as it turns out, the script is already done. Yeah, done. Okay. Here's what we know. So the stars of the movie, the original movie, Jesse Metcalfe, who plays the titular character of John Tucker, Sophia Bush, and Ariel Kebbel, reunited at the panel for a panel at the Epic Cons Chicago event almost 18 years after the movie was released. Again, it came out in 2006, which if you're like me, probably makes you feel a little bit old to hear that it's been almost 20 years since the movie came out. But they revealed during this panel that there is a script and that apparently it's, quote, amazing. Okay. So Jesse Metcalfe said that he heard that there's been talks of a script, and he said, I definitely love to be a part of it, said that he can't wait to read the script. I need this movie to happen ASAP. First of all, I think it could do well in the movie theaters, obviously, but I feel like this is the perfect movie for a streaming service like a Netflix or something, because there's already such, like, the demographic for this movie is so crystal clear. And like I said, if you are a young to mid, really, if you're a millennial of any age, I feel like you definitely have seen this movie. And you probably enjoyed this movie. And so I feel like there's definitely an audience for it. And I also think it's very easy to like repeat the premise of the original film with the sequel. So for those who don't know or haven't seen the original movie, essentially the gist is John Tucker is this high schooler who's a bit of a player, not a bit of, he is very much a player. And he's dating multiple girls at the same time. And they find out that he is dating all three of them at the same time. And so they devise a plan to essentially ruin his life. Well, they realize all these different things that they're trying to do to ruin his life aren't working. And they come across this new girl in school, and they decide to create the perfect version of the perfect girl, make John fall in love with her, and then have her break his heart. Okay, that's basically the gist. To basically kind of like prove or show him what he has done to all these women, and basically make him realize that you can't play around with people's hearts. That's the gist. And I won't give away the ending for those who haven't seen the ending, but you could basically repeat that with them as adults. Like John Tucker could now be, a guy in his 40s, or I guess in his like late 30s, who's still a bachelor, who still isn't committing to women. And something similar could happen again. Like, I don't think we have to overcomplicate this. I don't think we have to come up with some crazy different script or some different storyline. Like, we can just go back to the tried and true storyline. I think we'd all still love it. Brittany Snow was obviously the main character, the main female character in the original movie. I think she could come back. Ashanti. So I want this to happen ASAP. I think all the actors involved would participate. It sounds like they would be interested. And I think it will be a big hit. Because now all of us who loved the original movie, we're adults. We have money to spend. We want to go to a great movie. If it's in the theaters, like, we'll all get together and go and see it. So I think it could also be a moneymaker. But it got me thinking, what other early to mid 2000 teen comedies deserve a sequel that haven't gotten one or haven't gotten the right one? So I'm going to run through a list of some of those that I feel like should have a sequel. The first being She's the Man, the iconic Amanda Bynes, Channing Tatum movie. Now, I don't know if this would actually be possible to do because the premise of the movie really hinges on the high school experience. But again, it's such a classic, especially for us millennials. Like, it is so funny. It really is Amanda Bynes at her absolute best. So maybe if it's not a sequel, I do think that we could remake the movie potentially. I just love it. I love the cast and I love Amanda Bynes in it. And I don't really have a very good idea as to how to execute this sequel, but I would like to see something because, again, it's like one of the best. The next one does have a sequel technically, but it's not really a sequel, and that's Mean Girls. There is a Mean Girls 2, but it's not with the original cast. And what we need is a Mean Girls with the original cast. And this, again, could follow the same kind of formula as John Tucker Must Die, which is to say, you don't really have to change much of the original storyline. You just make the characters older. You could, if you wanted to, have it be a story about, like, obviously Lindsay Lohan's character and Rachel McAdams' character and all of them as like mothers, and now it's their kids that are in high school. That could potentially be a thing. But again, we wouldn't have to overcomplicate it. Like, it could still very much be what it was in the original. Tina Fey could still be a teacher. Like, there's a lot of easy ways to integrate a lot of the former cast into the sequel. And I just think it needs to happen. I'm ready for the Lindsay Lohan renaissance. I think we're kind of sort of in it. Like, I think she's definitely having a bit of a comeback, but I feel like with a Mean Girls sequel, a true Mean Girls sequel, that will officially like welcome her back into Hollywood as like I don't want to say a real actor again, but like we just need her back in like a big budget movie that makes money. And this could be that for her. Okay, the next one I thought of was Superbad. Again, that movie, it's really just about friends being silly and crazy and having a wild night. Very easy to replicate as adults. Michael Cera and Jonah Hill could just have another crazy wild night as 30-something-year-olds or however old they're going to be in the film when stuff just goes wrong. And Seth Rogen could still be Seth and Bill Hader could still be cops, and you could make it work. It could even be like a high school reunion situation, bring back Emma Stone. This is a no-brainer for me. I do understand some people's hesitation when it comes to sequels, especially when a movie is such a classic like Superbad. They don't want to like mess with it, and kind of, I feel like people feel like sequels often taint or kind of like ruin a movie in some ways. So maybe you don't even have to call it Superbad. It could just be like another name, but we all understand it's like the Superbad sequel. I think we need it. I think we need to get Seth Rogen to start to write that script for us. And the final movie that we need as a sequel, which I actually think is sort of in the works to become a sequel, is Freaky Friday, the Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis classic. Again, another Lindsay Lohan vehicle to like bring her back up as a real true A-list star. We have heard little like rumblings over the last couple years from Jamie Lee Curtis, from Lindsay about the potential of a Freaky Friday sequel. I think they're both interested in it. Again, would this be Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis like changing bodies again? Would it be like a three-way switch? Would it be with Lindsay's daughter now? Or like, there's a lot of ways to work it out, but I love that movie. I think it's actually, this might be like a controversial take, but I think it's like one of Jamie Lee Curtis's best performances. I think she's so good in that movie. And again, it's nostalgic. And I think for any of us who grew up in those early to mid 2000s, in that time frame, like we all love these movies so much and they mean so much to us. And it would be wonderful to have those people back in our lives again. So those are my ideas for movies I'd like to see have sequels, but I would love to know in the comments what you think, what movies you think should get a sequel. Do you want a John Tucker Must Die sequel? Do we need it? I think we do. Is there a movie that I forgot that would make for a great sequel? Let me know in the comments. As always, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.